Okay, I don't know what happened, but the first part cut off, and I'm not about to do. I'm not about to do it again because it's just gonna do the same thing. I could already see it. I gotta go get another one. I'm probably gonna go sometime this week, so I have a new one for next week, hopefully. Um, okay, so yeah, he ends up leaving, and he's still telling her. He even told her I'm getting this truck. And so she's kind of like, why are you telling me? You know, she's really acting like she's done with him. She's not, but she's upset because remember when they were at the funeral home, he seemed like he was siding with Hannah. And she was like, I always got your back. So how are you, you know? So she's upset with him. So then we switch to Catherine. Catherine comes to the hotel. Jim is up there talking to, you know, one of just the regular employees. And he's like, do you know who I am? Yeah, you need to get me a manager now. I want to speak to a manager. So Broderick comes out. He's like, I am the manager. And he's like, what is your name? He's like, Broderick, sir. He was like, well, Broderick, sir, do you know who I am? He's like, actually, I do, or something like that. He was like, you need to get me a room. He's like, sir, all your cards have declined. Do you have another way to pay? He's like, no, I don't. And I want a room now. He's like, do you know who owns this place? He goes, yeah, the Bracket Club or something. He's like, oh, yeah, well, just so happens my wife and I own 70% of that club. So we own this hotel. And so Catherine comes up behind him. She's like, oh, that would be wrong. And he's like, Catherine. She's like, Jim. He's like, I want a room. No, he's like, why is my card declined or something like that? She's like, oh, the lawyer says it's best for us to keep our money separate until the divorce is final. So, yeah, he was like, well, what the heck am I supposed to do for money until then, Catherine? She's like, I don't know, but I'm sure you figure something out. And so he's like, Catherine, do you really think I'm going to take this lying down? She's like, that's how you take everything else. And he's like, Catherine. She was like, Jim, sign the papers and let's get this over with. He's like, Catherine, do you understand that I'm trying to be nice to you in your delicate mental state? She was like, and what is my mental state? He was like, sweetheart, do you really want to say what you did? She goes, I don't care, Jim. He's like, and that's the problem because he's talking about Jennifer Sallison, but he didn't want to blurt it out. She's like, you could if you want. I don't care. And he was like, do you understand that right now us being married is like a privilege to you because, you know, if something happens, I won't have to testify. We have spousal privilege, so I won't have to testify against you. You know, they can't put me on the stand. He goes, but if we get a divorce, I could be made to testify against you. She's like, I don't care. And he's like, Catherine. She's like, Jim. And then he's like, Catherine, he was like, you're really serious about this? She's like, yep. And he's like, you're starting to make me mad, Catherine. Do you really want to play this game with me? You know, you're going to make the bad guy come out or something. And she's like, I look forward to it. And then she's like, give me Wyatt's address. He's like, no. He goes, but then he sees that she wants it, so he tries to kind of use it as leverage. And he goes back up to the front desk. He goes, I want a room. She was like, I'll have security drag you right out of this place. He goes, I'd like to see you try. She goes, give me Wyatt's address. So then that cuts off and we go to the next thing. But we assume that he didn't give her the address, and obviously he didn't get a room. So that's interesting. I think she's really going to divorce him because fans have been on the rocks about that. Like, I don't really think she's going to do it. I guess we'll see. So next we should switch to Wyatt and Anna. They're coming back to the apartment. Remember last season? Oh, that was also another one of the things they recapped was Anna and him walking in the park, and he sees this priest and he gets really freaked out. So they get back to the his place. And she's like, Wyatt, what's wrong with you? He's like, no, nothing. I don't want to talk about it. She's like, no. Something triggered you, and now you want to use. And he's like, yeah. She was like, what was it? He was like, I saw him. And, you know, she's at this point comforting him, you know, patting him on the shoulder and all that. And he's like, she goes, you saw who? He was like, crying and stuff. She's like, come on, talk through it. You're safe. You know, you're here with me. And he's like, the priest. She was like, and what did he do? He was like, he took me down to the basement rectory. And he kept touching me. I told him to stop. He wouldn't stop. I said no. She's like, it's okay. You're safe. Because, you know, he's starting to get kind of hysterical. And she's like, it's okay. You're safe. You know, she's crying. He's like, wait a minute. I don't think you're supposed to be getting this emotional about it. She's like, I'm sorry. I was trying to power through it, but this is really difficult for me. And he was like, wow, all my other counselors, when I would tell them, they wouldn't even blink twice. Like, they didn't care. And he's like, wait a minute. Did this happen to you too? And she's like, yeah. He was like, who? And she was like, it was my aunt. And she's crying. And he's like, oh my God. And at this point, he's comforting her. They're just both a wreck. And so they start hugging. I was like, don't do it, Tyler. Lo and behold, he ends up kissing her. And she's like, no, we can't do this. We can't do this. He's like, come on, you know. whatever he says, it seduces her. And I end up fast forwarding, but pretty sure that it happened because what they tease for next week, she gone. Okay, so it happened. So I mean, I could be fine with Wyatt and Anna being. Actually, I've been saying that. I think they would be nice together, but then now this is going to be a whole thing because she quit, which I knew that was going to happen because she told him from the beginning, because from the beginning they kind of had this tension between them, and he was basically being forward about it, like, you know, we should just, he was like, you're pretty hot, and she was like, he was like, so what if something did happen between us? She was like, then I would have to send somebody else because that's unprofessional. So, and that's what she did. So that's kind of, hopefully they'll swing back around because she seems good for him. She's been through similar stuff. Hopefully she's not working for Oscar though, because fans have been talking about that too. So I hope not, because I like her. Okay, minus the fact that she laid up, we'll let it go. So we switched to David. David and Erica, he's driving this nice little, I don't think it's a Hummer. I don't know what that car is. It was a nice car. They pull up to this house. Nice house. Beautiful house. And so they come in, she's like, what is this? He was like, this is my house. She was like, your house? He's like, yeah, I actually brought this place after my house burned down. But, you know, with my wife and I on the Ritz, I just thought this is a really big house and I didn't want to live here by myself. He's like, I actually have a few people who are willing to buy. And so he's like, but now, since you're in the picture, I figure maybe. She's like, whoa, David. He's like, now don't say no. She was like, well, we just met. He was like, we did not just meet. Okay, even though they did. And he was like, I would just love if you would stay here with me. You know, this is too big of a house for a single man. He's like, come on, look around. And he's like, I only want to hear 2 words from you. Hands her, because she said something about her wardrobe that came kind of out of nowhere or something. He's like, you need to get your clothes, get your stuff, and come on with me. And she said something, I don't have a wardrobe. He was like, forget all that. We'll get you a whole entire new wardrobe. And hands her his credit card. She didn't even blink twice. She was like, David, grabs the card, like, you know what I mean? Like, not even, I can't. No, she takes the card. Because remember, Candace, last time she talked to her, she was like, what is wrong with you? Why is this going so slow? He should have at least given you his credit card by now. So, that's how it's going. So he's like, I only want to hear 2 words from you. She goes, thank you. He's like, no, I want to hear the words of, like, your ex-fiance that, you know, bruised your face up. And she's like, David, I already told you, I'm not giving you his name. I don't want you involved in any of my stuff. Because we know that was a lie. So there is no name. So, yeah. So he's like, I'm going to show you around the house. So they're about to go walking around. It's a knock on the door. David, who is it? It's Jim. So Jim comes and walks his happy self into the house. And if this cuts off, y'all, it's going to be a third part. I'm sorry. So Jim comes and walks his happy self into the house. He's like, David. So David comes on in. And he's like, how are you, David? No, how are you, Jim? He's like, fine, David. You know, can you believe that witch kicked me out of the hotel? Like, I can't even get a room there. He automatically knows who he's talking about. And he's like, really? He's like, you must have really made her mad. He was like, yeah, now she's really starting to make me mad. He's like, well, that's not a good thing to do. Just calm down or whatever. He's like, well, I need your credit card. And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I need your credit card because I don't have any place to stay right now. And I need you to get me a reservation in the hotel under your name because I can't do it under mine because they won't give me a freaking room. So then he's like, and what's going on with Mama Rose, David? Because I've been trying to call her. She won't return any of my calls. He's like, well, mine either. And he's like, so what are we going to do? We have to get in contact with her about this Jennifer Salison thing because she looked like she putting this out there. And so he's like, I think we're going to have to go through Hannah's son. He's like, Hannah's son? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, Benny and Mama Rose's grandson, Mitch, are super close. I think they're business partners. So we're going to have to come up with a plan and try and get to her through him. And he was like, okay, we'll work on it, David. He's like, I'm going to work on it. He's like, I'm telling you, David, I tried to give that woman an inch of space just so she can get her mind right. But she's doing way too much now. She's really starting to make me mad. And then he's like, all right, David, show me your house. And he's like, no, not now, Jim. Maybe later. He was like, Jim, I have a guest. He was like, oh, you have a guest? He was like, I want to meet her. He was like, you like this one? Because he's like, yes, I do. He's like, I want to meet her. He's like, no, Jim, not now. Maybe another time. He's like, David, I want to meet your girlfriend. He was like, not now. And he's like, okay, fine. He's like, but I need your credit card. Doesn't give him credit card. I guess he gives him cash because he was like, you gave her your credit card, didn't you? Yeah. He's cheesing from ear to ear. We're over it. Okay, so they're gonna try. I want to see how that plays out. Hopefully, Benny does not go for it, whatever it is, because I mess with you, David, because you the Godfather. But I'm not messing with you like that, okay? Because Benny's my boy. Okay, so I don't know, because David, you be doing some shady stuff, and for Jim too, because your name wasn't on that dead body. It said crier victim. I don't got nothing to do with it. That's how it would be if I was David. Because, Jim, we remember you tried to frame Jeffrey. Remember when Wyatt took Jeffrey's car and ran over Lizzie Castile, and he tried to tell David, oh, I'm sorry, it looks like your son did it. And David was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Because Jeffrey had already told David, Wyatt stole my car. And now he's telling me he doesn't know where it is. So he's like, I know it was your son, so how dare you? So, I'm over you. Okay? That's why people call them frenemies. I wouldn't even call them frenemies. They're just like, I think they're like brothers, and they just do effed up stuff to each other at times. That's why I wouldn't even call them frenemies, though. But, moving on. I mean, David is the only friend Jim got, because he's pretty much unbearable. So, then, the last scene we see is, wait a minute. Yep. Last scene we see, Veronica and Melissa. Melissa crawls out of the car, and for a second when she was crawling out, I thought Stormcloud, oh, look at me calling her Stormcloud, shout out to the Jedi. Stormcloud was going to grab her ankle and, like, drag her, but no. Melissa sitting there, and Veronica, I gotta hurry this up, you guys. Veronica is strapped in still. And so she can't get out. She's like, help, help. Melissa's like, you're the devil, why are you afraid of flames? Classic line. And she's like, help, help, Melissa, please help me. She's like, no, I'm going to sit right here and watch you die. Okay, so that was the episode, you guys. And I think we're going to get more of that next week because I don't want to spoil you guys. So shut off now if you don't want a spoiler. But the information for next week says that Benny and Mitch risked their lives to save some victims in a car accident. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's going to coincide with Melissa and Veronica. So I'm thinking Veronica ain't going nowhere. I'm thinking Veronica's going to live. She didn't even look injured, really. She just kind of like upside down in suspension because she can't get the seatbelt. It's probably jammed. So she's sitting like this, and she's like, help, help. And Melissa was like, no, I'm not helping you. So let me see, did I miss any? If I missed anything, leave it down in the comments. I think I got most of the stuff. But please let me know. Please let me know, you guys. Okay, it's the one and only your girl, Jada J. Hopefully, I'll be back next week with a better camera at that. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.